Hello everyone, my name is Dar Rath and I'm the pastor at Faith Lutheran Church in Port Elgin, Ontario, Canada. Each week I bring you a story that takes about 5 minutes to watch. Some of them are interesting, some of them are funny. And this one is a story about someone in Saskatchewan. The wind had been restless all day, the kind of wind that makes the prairie grass lean in long, tired waves, as if the land itself were sighing. Out near Oxbow, Danny Brock stood on his porch with a mug of coffee gone cold, watching the sky shift from blue to a heavy, unsettled green. He'd grown up under these skies. He knew the difference between a storm that just wanted to grumble and one that meant to do harm. This one meant harm. Inside the house, his wife Marla was folding laundry while their two kids argued over a board game. It was an ordinary evening, the kind you never realize you're going to miss until it's gone. Danny stepped inside, set the mug down, and said quietly, "Basement, now!" The sirens hadn't sounded yet, the radio hadn't said a word, but the air had changed, thickened, tightened, and the wind had gone from restless to angry. They barely made it down the steps before the world above them exploded. The sound was impossible to describe. No thunder, no wind. Something deeper, like the earth itself, had cracked open and was howling. The house shuddered. Something heavy slammed into the wall. The lights flickered, then died. The kids clung to Marla. Danny wrapped his arms around all three of them and whispered, "It's okay, I've got you." But he wasn't sure he believed it. When the tornado finally passed, the silence felt unreal. Too soft, too sudden. They climbed the stairs slowly, as if afraid the world might collapse again if they moved too fast. The house was still standing, but barely. Windows blown out, roof peeled back. The yard, their yard, looked like a battlefield. The barn was gone, the granary was gone. The tractor lay on its side like a fallen animal. The fields were littered with splintered woods, twisted metal, and pieces of their life they couldn't yet identify. Danny stepped outside and felt his knees weaken. He wasn't a man who cried easily, but the tears came anyway. Hot, angry, grateful, terrified tears. They had survived. Everything else was broken. The next morning, the sun had fully risen. Danny heard the rumble of a truck on the gravel road, then another and another. By 7 a.m., a convoy of neighbors had arrived. Some from down the road, some from towns he hadn't visited in years. People he knew well, people he barely knew at all, people he'd never met. They came with chainsaws and toolboxes, tarps, coffee, muffins, and casseroles wrapped in towels to keep warm. They came with work gloves and wheelbarrows and quiet determination. No one asked what needed doing, they just started. A pair of teenage brothers began clearing debris from the driveway. A retired farmer brought his old but reliable tractor and used it to lift fallen beams. A woman from town, Danny thought her name was Marlene, set up a folding table and began handing out sandwiches like she'd been preparing for this moment for her whole life. Someone found the family's photo albums scattered across the field and returned them, dirt-stained but intact. Someone else found the kids' bikes tangled in a fence and fixed the bent wheels on the spot. Everywhere Danny looked, people were working, sweating, laughing, shouting instructions, offering encouragement. The yard buzzed with life, with purpose, with something that felt like hope. At one point, Danny stood beside his neighbor Tom, who was hauling broken boards into a pile. I just don't know how to thank all of you," Danny said quietly. Tom shrugged. "You don't. Out here, we just show up. Someday it'll be someone else. Someday it might be me." Danny nodded, swallowing hard. He'd always known Saskatchewan was a place where people helped each other, But seeing it unfold in front of him in the middle of his own disaster felt like witnessing something sacred. By the end of the week, the Brock farm didn't look like it had before. Not yet, but it no longer looked like ruin. It looked like rebuilding. It looked like a beginning. The kids' bikes were leaning against the porch again. The roof was patched. The driveway was clear. The barn site was cleaned and ready for new lumber. And every evening, someone from the community brought supper. Stew, lasagna, bannock, pies, enough to feed the family and whichever volunteers were still working. One night, as the sun dipped low and painted the fields gold, Danny stood on the porch again. The wind was gentle now, brushing through the wheat like a hand smoothing rumpled sheets. He thought about what that storm had taken, buildings, equipment, and memories, but he also thought about what it had revealed. A community stitched together by kindness, by stubbornness, by the quiet belief that no one should face hardship alone. The tornado had torn through their land, but the people around them had rebuilt their faith. And in that moment, Danny realized something he would carry for the rest of his life. On the prairies, the wind may take many things, but it never takes the welcome. Oh, this is a wonderful story of disaster, really, and people helping each other. So I hope you enjoyed hearing that story. Thanks for taking 5, and blessings on your day.